Welcome to the Future 3 podcast. Boom. I'm Sean.
I'm Shaylin.
And I'm Sign.
And we are the Future 3 podcast.
Every night, millions of people tune into SportsCenter and see his face. What they don't see is the 27 years it took to get there. Today, the person sitting across from us is the face of that show. He has been an anchor at ESPN for over 2 decades, hosting SportsCenter, NFL Live, Baseball Tonight, Outside the Lines, College Football Live, NBA Tonight, and the Special Olympics World Games. He started as a college stringer at USA Today in 1995, grinded his way through small market television in Missouri and Florida, and became the first Indian American anchor on a national sports network. This one is personal to us. Please welcome to the Future 3 podcast, Mr. Kevin Negandhi.
Welcome.
Good to see you guys. I'm glad we could do this, and I'm really proud of what you guys are doing and trying to figure your way out in this media space. So great to see you.
Yeah,
Great
thank
seeing you too.
Yeah, we're excited to learn more about your career. Can't wait. But before we get into anything, we watch SportsCenter. We grew up on SportsCenter, and we need to know, is there anything about watching yourself on TV that still feels kind of weird, even after 27 years?
That's actually a really good way to start a podcast because you always are critical of yourself. So for me, I would watch something, and if there's something that I didn't like that night, I'm like, I'm gonna go rewatch it, see how I looked. How did I come across? Because there's a very famous line that has helped me in my career. You're never as good as you think, and you're never as bad as you feel.
Yeah.
Right? So if you feel like you had a bad show, sometimes you go watch and be like, it wasn't that bad. It just felt bad, right? Or if you ever watch a show and you're like, man, that was a freaking awesome show, and you'll watch it and be like, it was okay, it was good. It wasn't that great. So I think when you do that, you're never going high, low, high, low. You're always like this. Sometimes when I watch stuff from like 10 years ago, I cringe a little bit because I'm much better who I am as an anchor now than I was 10 years ago, right? I'm sure you guys understand that when you look at like videos of you guys when you were playing, Little League Baseball, you're like, but at that time, that's where you were in your career, or that's where you were as a young teenager. So like, I think it's a progress thing, but also you don't need to be hard on yourself. You don't need to be critical to the point where you can't just at least enjoy the process and understand that, hey, every day you're going to get better. Every day you're going to focus on something. And I can tell you that if you talk to a lot of people in our business, they all feel the same way. We are our toughest critic. We criticize ourselves harder than I think anybody ever would because we want to be better. And there's a reason why we're at, a position at ESPN and, at the mountaintop of trying to continue to improve every single day and stay there, because the reality is everybody wants to be up at the mountaintop with you. So you've got to kind of maintain your skill level and get better every day.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like although like sometimes it can be kind of weird to see it, I feel like it's also cool to see it in a way because it's like, whoa, I've come this far. Like I've made this much progress. It's pretty amazing, honestly. Like I'm sometimes when, as you mentioned, like I'll see soccer videos that my mom showed me. It's like when I was a little kid, I did not know what I was running in circles, quite literally. So, but then now I see it, and I'm like, whoa, I've made so much progress. It's so satisfying to be able to be at the point where I am compared to then.
I think that's important that you do that too. So you can see the proof is in the pudding of your hard work, right? I think that's really a good way to say, hey, I'm at this stage. To get to that stage, to get to this stage, it's okay to reflect. It's okay to look at yourself and say, all right, I remember doing that, and now I'm here. So that's actually pretty healthy.
Yeah, it is.
So you collect sports cards, and how long have you been collecting sports cards for?
So I remember going into a card shop probably way before you guys were even alive, but probably around like 1988, 89. My mom would drop me off at this card shop and drive off. And then like I'd call her in like an hour later, can you come pick me up? And then I'd ask the owner, can I call my mom? And she'd come pick me up. So like I'll never forget, I was in this card shop and Score came out, football Score, 1989. And it was the class of Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders,
Oh, wow.
Derek Thomas. And I bought all four of those cards, rookie cards, for a quarter
Oh,
each.
my God.
Dang.
Wow.
And then obviously I was like all into it. And Beckett was out with their like magazines, the Bo Jackson cards that are like, I was buying Randall Cunningham cards. I was buying all the Eagles. I remember looking at the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan card. And I'm like, God, I wish I could buy that. I wish I could afford that. To be honest with you, when COVID hit, I went back and found all these cards, and I found that card. I sent it to PSA. It came back as a 9.
Oh,
Dang.
wow.
And I was like, wow, I held this thing for, you know, 3 decades and it came back as a 9. That was pretty good. And I sold it at a card show about, I want to say 5 years ago. And since then, I've always said, why did I sell that? Why did I sell that? So this past week, I bought a PSA 10 Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie. And that's one of those cards where it's like, I'm never selling this. This is going here. It's all about timing. It's all about like, hey, identifying who you like, identifying a specific card. It's the timing of buying it at the right time, and also the timing of the player, and the market exploding at the right time. I think anything you buy with Shohei now, he's probably at its highest point.
Yeah.
But I also think there's room to grow.
Exactly.
It's just how much room you're going to grow. I think for Wembanyama, there's plenty of room to grow. For Shohei, he's got so many MVPs. He's, 2-time defending World Series champ. The one place where Shohei will continue to grow is if he wins the Cy Young.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That and he's, I think, into the top 3 in the conversation in the National League, clearly behind our guy Christopher Sanchez of the
Exactly.
Phillies.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. And I
It's-
mean, you've been on live TV for what, 27 years now, right?
Yeah.
So, I
Crazy.
mean, what is the most unexpected or memorable moment that's happened on live TV?
Hmm. Pretty good question. I've been really lucky to cover a variety of things. I grew up loving the Eagles. My father came from India, and it was the only way him and I could communicate and talk when I was, 7, 8 years old. It was always Sundays watching the Eagles.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with storytelling about sports and sharing those stories with my dad. So hosting the Eagles Super Bowl parade in 2018 on ESPN,
Oh,
pretty
wow.
freaking cool with,
That's
a million people behind me. And you get to talk about your city at its highest point when it comes to sports. Pretty awesome. Same area, a couple years earlier, I hosted SportsCenter from the Sixers draft party.
Oh, nice.
And that was down on the Parkway right before, underneath the steps, the Art Museum steps. And the Sixers had the number 1 pick with Ben Simmons. And I had done SportsCenter that morning. And basically the Sixers and I made arrangements to have Allen Iverson on the air with us at 6
Oh, that's
o'clock.
sick.
Allen Iverson, obviously a number 1 pick in 1996.
Yep.
I actually was covering him as a 21-year-old student at Temple, which was pretty cool. And I was there the night the Sixers drafted him. So now the Sixers have the number 1 pick with Ben Simmons, and they're bringing Iverson back, and he was part of the party. So I do the morning show in Bristol, Connecticut. I'm done at noon, drive down. It's a 4.5, 5-hour process, but we're on at 6 o'clock. The 6 o'clock Sports Center, I wasn't on, but the Sixers said, Iverson will do the interview with you live if you're here.
What?
So I drove down. So I'll do whatever I got to do. Drove down. Allen was getting inducted in the Hall of Fame in August. And Allen and I had, we had talked before. He was phenomenal. So beforehand, before we go on the air, we're catching up on a few things and talking about, situations that night when he was the first pick overall in his career. And my producer gets in my ear and was like, "I'm giving you 3 minutes." And I said to my producer, I said, "I didn't drive 5 hours to talk to Allen Iverson for 3 minutes." I was like, just lay out. That means, hey, don't say anything. Let me just do the interview. Trust me, it'll be great. Just trust me. I've talked to Allen enough. We have a great rapport. I know him. Just trust me." So she did. And it turned out to be like 9.5 minutes. Um, he hugged me like twice in the interview. He came to tears a couple times. And it was a great moment and allowed, I think, the national audience to see the Allen Iverson that I think all of us in Philadelphia know. It's been really cool for me to do all that stuff on a national level. I've been really lucky to be at the Super Bowl, the World Series, Stanley Cup. I'm going to the NBA Finals. I've been at All-Star games. I've been very, very lucky. I've hosted the NBA draft. Actually, I'll do it again in June on ABC. The Rose Parade, going to the national championship. It's been a wild ride. What stands out is the ones that are really cool personal connections that I have to as a kid growing up and understanding why I love sports, and I get to share that with people on TV.
Yeah, and going back to that Allen Iverson story that you were telling, I feel like confidence is 90% of the battle because if you don't have that confidence, you're not going to be able to communicate well or get those
Yes.
opportunities.
Yeah, without question. You got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, why would somebody want to talk to you, right?
Exactly.
If you don't show that you have done the research, like Alan felt comfortable with me because Alan knew that I knew his backstory. Alan knew that I put in the time to understand who he was. So he respected me after we talked before we went on camera. "I'll take care of you. We'll be good. Trust me. I'm not going to put you in a bad spot." When you earn that trust with the subject that you're interviewing, they'll want to talk to you more, right? They'll want to expand more. When you have confidence in the material and the information and the subject matter, they'll want to talk to you. And I'll add one other thing to make you guys really good at your job in any aspect of communication. Listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
So you guys obviously have questions there, right?
Mhm.
What has helped me through my years is I build an outline of questions, but then I listen to what the actual person is saying. And that person will reveal what they want to talk about. And sometimes your best moments are something you never scripted as a question. It's just you're listening to them. They want to talk about it, and then you're gonna be like, "Hey, let's continue to talk about this right there. What you just said. I want to hear more about that." That person then will tell you more because you're listening to them. And suddenly you're not just sticking to the next question, sticking to the next question, sticking to the next question. You guys have done a really good job with that. You're listening to what the subject is saying and where they're going, and then you're expanding on that. And now you're getting a lot more from me than it was, let's go to the next question, let's go to the next question, let's go to the next question that you have already written down.
That's a
Yeah,
great piece of advice right there.
yeah. I
I'll
feel like
remember
it's
that.
kind of an art of kind of like understanding people in a way because you also you don't get the best answers if you're kind of just being awkward and just kind of like reading off the card like I
Yep.
feel like just have a casual conversation, just make sure you could build a connection with the subject and just have a good time. That's the main thing.
You guys nailed it. And if you master that, if you master those type of things, and it just takes repetition, talking to people, you'll be able to do anything you want when you're out in public and you talk to somebody in whatever career you decide to do. If you listen to the person and then you ask questions or you have a conversation about a topic that you feel that, hey, this is important to them, they want to reveal themselves, I'm going to keep going. You'll get a lot more things down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
completely agree.
through these podcasts, like all of these episodes that we've had, I feel like everyone just wants to be understood and everyone just wants to be listened to. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That means that's a lot of editing.
Yeah.
It is. So, we are three high school kids who maybe potentially want to work in this industry of sports, and you were once exactly that. What is one thing that you wish somebody told you at a young age that nobody ever did?
Very good question. The advice I would give myself would be, and I learned this while I was in college, would be to try everything. Uh, Literally try everything now. Make mistakes now. Um, be confident in whatever you're doing, but at the same time, understand that you're going to make mistakes. Do not try to be perfect. When I was 21, one of my mentors, I was doing an internship. I did 5 internships back then. And the reason why is it was like, I need to learn, I need experience and stuff like that. And one of my mentors was like, you've got a great voice. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't think you've got to go into broadcasting, boys. Welcome to the pot. Don't think you need to do that. Just be yourself, because people will see through it if you're trying to be somebody or something else that you create in your mind. If you're yourself, you speak with confidence, you're relatable, people will listen to you. People will want to be around you, right? I would also learn how to do things like you guys right now are in front of the camera. Learn how to put the whole thing together. Learn how to, hey, I've got to adjust this mic. I've got to figure out the best way to angle it. I don't need a producer. I've got to produce this show. I got to figure out, how do I produce it? How do I edit it? How do I upload it? How do I get commercials? How do I get people that are going to be sponsors? How do I be a guest booker? Because if you learn the whole process of this, then when you go out there, you could already build your own multimedia, right? When I went to my first job in Kirksville, Missouri, it was really important that in college I learned how to edit. I learned how to. It was important that I learned how to shoot on camera.
Yeah.
Like I was shooting the highlights. It was important I learned how to write my show and then be on camera. So when you take that first job, they're going to put you in the middle of nowhere and they're going to give you a camera, a small camera, and be like, all right, go out and do a story. So as a guy that's on the air, before I went to ESPN, I was my own producer. So I would produce my own sports show on Sunday nights at my previous station. It was just me. So then when I went to ESPN and a producer is putting together a show, I can be like, how about we do it this way? Why are we doing that way? Or explain to me why you're doing it this way. And now when I'm on college football, I'm producing with my producer in real time because we're doing highlights. Hey, listen, this Texas game just ended and they play Alabama next week. Let's do Texas and Alabama together so I can transition after the Texas game, say next week, the Longhorns are on the road in Tuscaloosa to face Alabama. Alabama this week just faced LSU, and this is what happened. So it's like a flow, and you're producing in your own mind. I got that from a job in my 20s that helps me now at ESPN.
Yeah.
When you watch football, if you're watching Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, whether he throws an interception or not, whether he throws a touchdown or not, everybody's going to talk about the quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether I do anything right or wrong, they're going to talk about me. But if somebody doesn't do their job, like an offensive lineman or a wide receiver drops a ball, and one of our producers doesn't do their job, or our editor screws something up, or the audio guy, they're going to look at me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm basically, the co-host and I are playing the role of quarterback. But we cannot actually have a successful show without everybody else doing their job. Jalen, you have to know all those layers. So why I bring this all up together? Because a quarterback has to know what everybody's doing, right? You're running this route. They have to know what the route is. They have to know the offensive line and how they're blocking. I have to know what everybody else is doing so I can execute it the right way on TV, because that makes me a better person on TV. It makes Jalen Hurts a better quarterback. So I know I went wrong on that, but my whole point is that try everything, learn about every single layer, and don't think it's just I show up and put me on camera and I just talk. No, there are layers to everything that you guys are doing.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
going
I'll never forget my coach. This was a long time ago, but this is a coach that I'll never forget because he told me that when especially colleges, for example, are looking for a player, they're gonna take a player that knows how to play multiple positions than one that's just focused on one because you can't really do much with someone that's just focused on one position. But if you know a lot of different things and how to do different things in the different aspects of the game, that's a big game changer because that gives you a very big upper hand on the competition.
Yeah,
Without question. And here, this will add to it when you guys talk about sports.
Yeah.
It's knowing so many other sports as well. It's being adjustable and adaptable.
Yeah.
So Sports Center is not easy. I don't focus on one sport. I've got to know, hey, the Stanley Cup final. I've got to know what happened there. I've got to know what happened last night with Oklahoma City and San Antonio. I'm studying right now for the NBA draft. I'm watching some video last night of the WNBA this morning and Caitlin Clark, and there's some stuff going on with the Indiana Fever. I've got to know the Phillies, Edmundo
Yeah.
Sosa coming in and hitting that home run, stopping the Dodgers winning streak. There are a variety of different things I've got to be versatile at, and you just never know. So to your point, you've got to know a lot of other things and be kind of a Swiss Army knife ready because you never know when your name's going to be called, and boom, you're prepared.
Yeah, so I mean, you grew up as an Indian American kid in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania in the 80s and 90s. And there were no anchors on TV that looked like you. Did you ever see yourself back then as someone that would step in that seat?
Yeah, I did. I was pretty crazy. Um, so at 14, I had the vision. It was like in 1989. I had the vision and the visual in the back of my mind that I could do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, when it came time to choose colleges at 18, it I thought I had to go to a certain school to be like the next broadcaster. So I was like doing all this research and stuff like that. What got me through like these ridiculous ideas and dreams is because I would read Sports Illustrated every week. They would have a feature on somebody and that person would have a ridiculous dream. And I was like, if these guys can do it, I can. Now, in 1993, Mike Piazza, Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
now he made his debut with the Dodgers. And Mike Piazza is from my hometown of Phoenixville. And he grew up with my brother,
Wow.
Vimal. And they played Little League baseball together. And so when Mike made it to the big leagues, we had followed Mike's career where he was like, drafted like 50th, 60th round. He went through the minor league system. Again, he came from a community college, Miami-Dade. He tried so many things and he went up the system. So I followed him. And then when he made his debut and he was phenomenal, that rookie season. And it was right around when I was 17, 18 years old. And it was perfect for me to say, if that guy from Phoenixville can make it, then this kid from Phoenixville can make it. Like, if he could do it, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I be the first Indian American at ESPN? And when I made my debut in 1998 in Kirksville, Missouri at the ABC affiliate at KTVO, I was the second Indian American in American television history to do local sports.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was the second one
Wow.
to do local sports, a local TV station in American history. And it was like, okay, that's great, but keep on going. I hit some rough patches in my 20s, where it was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to ESPN. I took some detours and then eventually I was given an opportunity and I took full advantage of it during a tryout. And I've been here for 20 years.
How
Yeah,
did
and I,
the tryouts work for that? Like for a broadcasting company, how do they try you out?
Good question. So my agent at the time called me and said that ESPN saw your tape. They're inviting you to go up to Bristol, Connecticut, and you'll watch the 11 p.m. show. And then the next morning, they're going to pick you up from your hotel. They're going to take you to their offices at 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll write the show, a 10-minute show. You'll get you'll look at the highlights. And then by 10 o'clock, you'll get into the chair, and which is, in one of their studios, and you'll do a 10-minute show. And then after that, you'll have 30-minute meetings with 6 executives. And each meeting, you go into their office, you sit down, they, ask you a bunch of questions. And it's pretty intimidating when you're walking into these. This is 2006. I got a list of the people that I was meeting. I did all this research on all these executives, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy runs the NFL on ESPN. Oh my God, this woman runs the NBA on ESPN. Oh my God, this person runs, SportsCenter. And you walk into their offices, and they've got like 20 Emmys, and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? But my whole approach was, if somebody's better than me, man, they got to have the best audition, because I'm going to have the best audition that I can have. I can only control what I can do. I can't control the 6 other people I'm competing against.
Yeah.
So my thought process was, just go up there, enjoy the whole thing. You don't get the job. You've got an incredible story that you actually somewhat realized that dream, and you went to ESPN and they tried you out, and you were in their studios and you walked around. And 3 weeks later, they called me, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it's such a great mindset to have, that no one's gonna beat you as long as you try your hardest, right? And
Yeah,
it doesn't even have to relate to your career only. It relates to every single career. Like, you want to be the best, and that's how you climb up those ranks.
totally. And you got to be prepared that you won't be the best. Somebody will be better. But you know what? You come back and say, what did they do right? How do I get better? And you know what that is? That equates to hard work. And if you notice some of the great players in sports, talent got them to a certain point, but eventually they have to work harder. And then when you are the most talented player and you're the hardest worker, then you get the Michael Jordans of the world, right?
Yeah.
Then you get, a guy that we're seeing right now with Victor Wembanyama, the Shoheis, you get the Kobe Bryants, when talent and hard work come together at the highest. But if you have just talent here and hard work here, you're still going to get incredible, like, small little thing. Let's bring up like a guy like Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
All right. Puka Nacua is a 5th-round pick. He had talent, but man, his hard work
Yeah.
out the door, right?
Yeah.
If you outwork people, look at Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey was, he went to Kentucky, picked 21st overall. But man, what he did when he came to the league was, every year, I got to get better at this. I got to get better at this. I'll work on my 3-point shoot. Completely different player than the guy we saw. And now, all NBA, all-star, because he matched his hard work with his talent, and they kept on growing together.
Yeah, even after Maxey won the All NBA, I remember looking on his Instagram story. He literally posted that image that the NBA, I think, or the Sixers posted. He reposted it, and then under it, he wrote, "I'll be better next year." Like, he was already All NBA, so I was like, "Geez, that just goes to show you how hungry he really is to become the greatest that he can be." It's just that motivation that really inspires people.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking of Ben Simmons' career
Oh,
from this.
Lord.
Like,
Jeez.
he was so good, and then he just stopped
Talent.
working hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Only talent.
Talent and confident. Or
Then-
talent.
And then when this is not aligned, right, where the talent is up here and the work is here, there are many, many stories about guys that are like, oh my gosh, this person is so talented
Yeah.
and had awful work ethic. What that will do is, it'll maybe get you a shot up the league, but you won't last long in the league,
Exactly.
right? Because eventually no one's putting up with it, and then your talent starts to come down, and then where's your work ethic? Has it met up? Has it like come to the same floor level to keep on rising together? Something I think you guys can relate to, especially where you guys live, is Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what he's done. Look at who he has become, and that's a lot of that is just work, work, work. I mean, we got him on a trade that no one talked about with the Tampa Bay Rays in 2019. And the guy now is the best pitcher in the National League. You can make a case he had the best month on the planet in May,
Yes.
not giving up an earned run. And all of that was just hard work, getting better over and over again, being around guys like Wheeler, understanding and Ranger Suarez and Jesus Luzardo and Aaron Nola, being around guys that elevate your level, understanding how to pitch. It just, to me, Christopher Sanchez is a perfect example of the topic of discussion that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, and I feel like someone that could be like that in the future is Justin Crawford, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He has,
he works hard.
he has so many veterans around him too, like Bryce Harper, Schwarber, all of them. So
Trout.
Yeah.
I'm excited for
And
that.
his dad was an incredible baseball player. His
Yeah.
dad, what I covered his dad, Carl Crawford, when he
Oh,
was
wow.
with the Rays.
Nice.
Incredible baseball player.
That's awesome.
So now let's go to college. You started your college career as a freshman at Syracuse University, and then you transferred to Temple University to study communications. At what point did you decide that Temple and communications was the right move?
Temple was the best decision I ever made in my career because at Syracuse, I mean, I went to Syracuse because I thought, hey, Bob Costas went to Syracuse. Mike Tirico went to Syracuse. Dick Stockton went to Syracuse. Marv Albert, like all these legendary broadcasters went to. Sean McDonough went to Syracuse. So I've got to do what they did. And I was there for a semester. The weather was not a lot of fun for me. And my mom brought up Temple multiple times, and I was like, nah, because, being from the suburbs of Philadelphia, I was like, I kind of want to leave. I want to go away. I realized that I was going to waste my parents' money at Syracuse. And so maybe that's that Indian inherent son guilt of, I can't let my parents down. I decided that, hey, let's look around. And my mom brought up Temple a couple times. Temple's a really good communication school, but one of the things that Temple had was in Market 4 in Philadelphia. And in this business, you got to get experience. And at Syracuse, there's so many future sportscasters and broadcasters. I wasn't going to get a lot of experience in my freshman and sophomore years. So I decided to go to Temple and then basically made a full commitment. And I said, if this is what you want, understand what's in front of you. You've got to go all in. And I went to Temple and decided to be really involved on campus and went to the school newspaper because I had to learn how to write on deadline. And if you could learn how to write on deadline, you literally can do anything you want, to the point where, I did it for 3 years, writing on deadline. It changed how I would write papers. It changed how I would communicate to people. It changed how I would do radio. It changed how I would do TV, because those things became easy because if you could write on deadline, it's what I do now. If I have breaking news in a commercial break, where we're 3 minutes and they're like, get in my ear, hey, we're leading with this story. This person just got injured. He's not going to play tonight. Can you write it? I have 3 minutes to write it. And it's a deadline. Boom, 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 boom. I'm writing it. And a lot of that was set up at Temple. I'm working at the Temple News. Then after I did like a semester at the Temple News, I decided I want to call play-by-play for Temple basketball on the women's side. And I did that for 3 years. And what that did was allowed me to improv 2-3 hours thinking on my feet. Boom, boom, boom. I have to think and learn how to think and react without any script. That was phenomenal for me in the training, right? So it helped me think on my feet. And then I went to the TV station called Temple Update. And so I was doing this, as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and then, senior. And it helped me in so many layers to the point where then I could help make a tape at Temple Update on camera as the sports guy. And in between this, I did 5 internships. So at Channel 6 ABC, Channel 10, the NBC, 610 WIP, where I became a producer. Channel 17 was my first one where I was in the booth with Harry Callis and Richie Ashburn during Phillies games as a 19-year-old, which is unbelievable. And I was helping those guys out. And then this magazine called The Fan, which was run by Mike Missinelli at the time. So I was learning how to do all these different things and be versatile and meet people. And it just Temple was the best thing. It gave me those opportunities, and my professors all understood what I was doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, speaking of being versatile and kind of improvising in a way, I mean, the broadcasting space, especially right now, is changing rapidly, especially with social media, with AI and all these different platforms streaming too. So, I mean, it's obviously way different from when you first started. So, what's some advice you'd want to give to a student who wants to start getting their foot involved in this space of where do they even start?